As a timer for the CFM56 engine. That's the type used in the 737-400. Today, General Electric, speaking from their headquarters in Cincinnati, would have no comment on the allegations, but they did point out that engines of that type have logged over 10 million hours in the air without serious incident. At Boeing Field in Seattle today, a brand new 737-300, that's the shorter version of the one that crashed on Sunday, was being prepared for takeoff and delivery to British Midland. Boeing insists they still have a lot of faith in the aircraft.
Very good. In terms of the 737, it's very good. This is the latest model, and to date, it's been excellent.
The British Midland 737 is now on its way to England. On board, 3 Boeing staff members. They'll join the investigation team. Among them, a pilot, an engineer, and a specialist accident investigator.
Now the rest of the day's news. Hand grenades were thrown into a crowd at a basketball game in the Philippines, killing 26 people, mostly children. Trophies were being handed out when 2 grenades exploded. The local mayor and all the members of a visiting team were wounded. Police say there have been horrific massacres in South Lebanon after fighting between rival Shia Muslim militias. At least 80 people have been killed and 200 wounded. The Syrian-backed Amal militia says it has recaptured 4 out of 5 villages seized on Sunday by the Iranian-backed Hezbollah. The villages lie along the main road from Sidon, 40 kilometers south of Beirut.
This is the bloodiest fighting in the south since the power struggle for dominance of Lebanon's 1 million Shias, the country's largest sect, began in April. The pro-Iranian Hezbollah moved into 5 villages, including Kafar Hatta and Kafar Melki on Sunday night. It was their first major offensive since being driven out of the region last year. But within hours, the Syrian-backed Amal had launched a successful counterattack. Using rocket launchers and tanks, they bombarded the villages throughout the morning. There was also fierce hand-to-hand fighting. A police spokesman executions. Iran and Syria have appealed for peace in the area, but the Amal leaders have vowed that the fighting will continue until Hezbollah has been driven out.
The government of Pakistan has said it will try to restart deadlocked talks between Moscow and Afghan Mujahideen guerrillas. The rebels object to the Soviet Union trying to secure a place for its communist allies in a post-war Afghan government. Pakistan's offer came after Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto met the Soviet envoy Yuri Vorontsov at the weekend. He was in Pakistan negotiating with the Mujahideen before talks broke down on Saturday. The new monarch of Japan, Emperor Akihito, has promised to work with the people to safeguard the post-war democratic constitution. It was his first public statement since succeeding his father, Emperor Hirohito, who died on Saturday. The reign of Akihito will be known as Heisei, meaning the creation of peace.
Emperor Akihito arrived at the Imperial Palace in Tokyo to fulfill an important ritual in the tradition of accession to the chrysanthemum throne. His audience included members of the imperial family, parliament and the judiciary. His 4-minute statement was his first imperial rescript, in which a new emperor sets a tone for his reign. With the new Empress Michiko at his side, he said he was shrouded in sorrow by the death of Emperor Hirohito. He pledged to continue in the spirit of his father, endeavoring to constantly be at one with the people and to preserve the Japanese constitution. The country's newspapers mourned the death of Emperor Hirohito, but already carry the symbol of the new era, Heisei, or the creation of peace. And pictures of the first sunrise of the new era were shown on Japanese television, as were babies whose birthdays now have double significance.
Business news. Central banks have intervened to halt a sharp rise in the dollar after President Reagan's 1990 budget was published. The budget would boost military spending and allows for a trade deficit of almost $100 billion. The British electronics giant GEC looks set to be the target of Britain's largest takeover bid. An international consortium is expected to launch the bid in reply to GEC's planned takeover of its rival Plessey. On the markets, Tokyo shares hit a record high despite Emperor Hirohito's death. Several European stock exchanges also rose sharply. On Monday evening in London, the FT 100 closed up 20.2. And in Frankfurt, the DAX was up 6.57. Gold bullion closed in London down $3.30 an ounce. North Sea Brent blend oil gained 5 cents a barrel, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed up 5.17. And now our special report. A film made in South Africa but banned from cinemas there is about to open in Europe. Mapantsula was produced by 2 South Africans and is about a petty crook who becomes involved in South African politics. Unaware of the political content, the film was financed by South African businessmen, encouraged by tax concessions to invest in the industry. When they saw the result, they were furious, and the film was banned. ITN's Stephen Phillips previews the movie.
Mapantsula is a film about a small-time thief in South Africa, and by promoting it as such, it was possible to make it in a country where a busy industry is turning out some 100 features a year, mostly for the world's exploitation video markets. But this film turns out to be something different, and has proved too real for the South African censors, who've banned its cinema release there. What's surprising is that it managed to be made in the first place.
It's not as if we were completely open about what we were doing either. We kept quite a low profile, and to the general public and media, we were making a gangster movie and nothing more. If we can do something like that again, I don't know, but we were going to a certain extent under disguise. That's why it was possible.
In fact, this film would almost certainly not go into production today, because since it was made, the South African government has formed a film ministry which monitors films more closely and can censor them if it chooses.
You must just tell me everything about him. How long have you known Dumas Settori? When did you last see him? Who? Why not waste my time with you, man? Huh? Tell me that. Look how I treat you. I give you food. I try and help you. Look, if you want to die, we can arrange that. We can arrange that straight away.
When the petty thief is in jail, the police try to use him as an informer. So crime and politics merge in a film which around the world will stir up most interest for its political content. Leading actor Thomas Mogatlane also co-wrote the film and denies that that was its principal purpose.
Mapantsula is not a political film. To me, it's not a political film. To most of the black people in South Africa, it's not a political film. It's only the system that will take it like that. Because, I mean, it's like this point of sharing culture, letting other people, the outside world, know about how we live in South Africa, which is very, very difficult. They don't want to accept that.
For the rest of the world, the most credible sequences are those already familiar from news.
Of useful hints and entertainment, plus this great free entry Damart competition.